So you're not even blonde.
No, that is blonde. That's level 7 blonde.
Brooke, that's brown.
I'm actually gonna remove myself from the conversation.
Is it touchy? Are you mad that you're not blonde
No, because
anymore?
people argue.
Wait, you're not naturally blonde anymore. Is that
I
what?
am!
Oh, I knew it.
Blondes. Who wouldn't want to be one, am I right? I mean, people say blondes have so much fun. Blondes are beautiful. And no wonder so many white women with obviously brown hair desire blondness so much that they refer to their own hair as dishwater and mousy. Yuck. But is that the only reason we assign such negative adjectives to certain features like dark hair? Or is there more to it? Well, I'll answer both of those questions today on this episode of The Beauty Files. So today, I saw a Black woman discussing her confusion around white women gaslighting themselves into thinking they have blonde hair and calling it derogatory names like dishwater and mousy.
I got in white people's business today and I called Dishwater Blonde brown. That did not go down well with the crowd. I want to clarify a few things. One, that I'm right. And that's the scariest thing about it, is that you guys are making things up in your head. And I think it's due to white supremacy, but I'm not going to unpack that for you. That's going to be at the journey that you're going to take by yourself. However, again, I just want to point out a few things. I have some images here. My first image, again, this is what comes up. Dishwater Blonde. This is brown, baby. This is brown. All the way down it's brown. It's a light brown. It's cute. And I think the problem here too is the way y'all word things. You make them sound dirty. I don't know why. I think we could really clear some things up if we had a cuter name for it, maybe.
In came the hairstylist to defend their right to call every white girl's hair shitty booty blonde. Mind you, that wasn't even the point of the video. The Black woman was asking why. Why do you guys call yourselves these names? Why do you do this to yourselves? Do you not see how delusional it looks? Most Black people know the disgust for certain features in homogenous communities stems from anti-Blackness. But Jade on TikTok stepped in to explain the thought process most white women have about their hair and its relationship to their place in society.
White girls talking about their blonde hair. I think most of these girls have brown hair.
I am so excited. I have unpacked 2 controversial topics here on my page recently. The first was why white women are so obsessed with blonde hair and why it's the white beauty standard. And the second were the ways in which we tie the concept of hygiene to cleanliness and moral virtue. Both of those videos are linked down below, and those topics are intersecting here in a beautiful way. Why is it that the hair colors on the margins of blonde and brown hair are given names commonly associated with filth? This hair color is called dirty blonde, and it's actually my natural hair color. When I was a child, my hair looked like this. It naturally darkened as I hit puberty into this light, ashy brown kind of color. But like I said in my previous videos, many white little girls are born with this light blonde hair, and they are highly praised for having it. It often becomes part of their identity, something that they understand to make them special. It makes them feel prized. As their hair gets darker, the compliments fade, and that can be very disconcerting to a little girl. And suddenly it becomes, no, sweetie, your hair isn't brunette. It's a dirty blonde. You're still blonde. And at least in my social circles, even the term dirty blonde was kind of rude. You'd just say blonde, but you'd also never ever say brunette. That was almost more of an insult. And even the phrase dark blonde felt like a consolation prize. What are you talking about? I'm not a brunette. I'm blonde. This is black sand blonde, okay? And this denialism runs deep. Even a lot of hair color charts will refer to hair color that is undeniably light brown as dark blonde. Get a load of this one. I'm sorry, but that's not even a light brown. That is a darker shade of brown than literal milk chocolate. I borrowed this graphic from a hairstylist who stipulates that hairstylists commonly consider level 6 to be dark blonde. Come on.
This is something I noticed as well. With all these different subgroups of blonde comes this fear of being anything but blonde. Throughout history, many people were indoctrinated into believing the most recessive DNA, such as blonde hair and blue eyes, was the epitome of whiteness. Nothing was more pure than a pale-skinned, blonde-haired, blue-eyed baby. This implied anything close to the opposite of that description was hideous and dirty. Unambiguously, Black people are the antithesis of this white beauty standard. Dark skin, dark eyes, dark kinky hair. This naturally creates a spectrum of whiteness to Blackness. So in homogenous communities, whether or not you fit the beauty standard depends on where you fall in this exact spectrum. So let's keep watching Jade's video.
But in all seriousness, I have always found it very interesting that there aren't any common polite sounding terms for this hair color. They all sound dirty. The most common, literally dirty blonde to dishwater blonde to mousy blonde. And a lot of people don't think of the term mousy as cute, by the way. It's insulting because they're afraid of mice and they see them as dirty pests. That's the correlation. There have been a lot of attempts to draw some kind of clear distinction between dirty blondes and true brunettes, which mostly seem to serve to comfort those who had blonde hair as a kid that then got darker. You could argue that dirty blonde is called as much because it often contains a certain level of natural highlights and lowlights, that it has has a natural ashiness to it, and it lacks a richness that natural brunettes have. But then why isn't it more commonly called something else? And I mean by lay people, not hairstylists, like dark blonde, or honey brown, or champagne blonde, champagne brown. All of these terms are more neutral sounding, and don't make the hair color sound dirty, except it's referred to with terms that make it sound unclean by design. You see,
So as we continue, she's going to speak more on the correlation between dishwater blonde, hygiene, and white supremacy. But I just want to give my 2 cents real quick. In a society where you're told one phenotype is superior, naturally it's going to imply the opposite is inferior. So humans will develop terms for these other phenotypes that project their own feelings of insecurity around where they fall on that pure white to pure black spectrum. For example, I am a black woman, however, I have a lighter skin tone, a lighter shade of brown eyes, and a looser hair texture. So that puts me in a part of the spectrum that would be perceived as proximity to whiteness. Now, if a white person looked at me, they'd be like, oh, that's a black person. But within my homogenous community, I am perceived as closer to white than most black people. Moving on though, I love this conversation she's engaging in around hygiene. We know white Europeans spread diseases due to their lack of proper hygiene, but because they were convinced they were a superior race, other races were given the label of filthy savages for their non-European ways of living. It shows a major disconnect from reality due to the delusions of grandeur. You can definitely see how this carries over into descriptions of brown hair versus blonde hair. Brown hair is dirty dishwater, which implies blonde is pure and clean. Now tell me, is every blonde you know clean?
You see, hygiene and cleanliness are very closely socially tied to feelings of moral virtue. And the concept of cleanliness often relates more to an in-group identity than actual hygiene. This is the feeling that is ultimately the core of the so-called hygiene Olympics, in which people try to one-up each other by sounding as if they're more hygienic than all of the other people in the conversation. Oh yeah, you shower twice a day? Well, I shower 4 times a day. I wash my couch pillows every single day, and if you don't do that, you're disgusting. There's a specific feeling of shame that surrounds this phenomenon. Feelings of disgust and treating groups of people as if they're dirty is at the core of a lot of propaganda too. Entire groups of people are portrayed as dirty in racist propaganda designed to mobilize an in-group against an out-group. The underlying message is they're dirty, therefore they're lesser than us and can never be like us. They're undesirable. I want to be clear. In no way am I comparing the experiences of dirty blondes to the experiences of racism. That would be ridiculous. What I am saying, however, is that we are asked to do a lot socially with our feelings of disgust towards other people. And our language often reflects this phenomenon even on a micro scale. Dirty inherently equals bad. Clean inherently equals good. And we judge people very harshly for unhygienic practices, even if those practices aren't actually unhygienic. While it would be healthier for everyone if hygiene and cleanliness were treated as morally neutral things, that wouldn't serve white supremacy, now would it? The existence of dirty blonde implies the existence of clean blonde, and therein lies the issue. A whole lot of dirty blondes bleach their hair well into adulthood to maintain the color that they had in childhood. It's seen as more beautiful, more glamorous, and more desirable. Referring to their natural hair color as dirty is a subtle means of reinforcing this dynamic. They are the lowest of the blondes, the closest to the brunettes. But you don't want to be brunette because blondes have more fun, and everybody loves a blonde. Or so most white women are told from childhood. So that's why they take it as such an insult. That is why the identity of blondness matters so much to them. And that is why white people use disparaging terms for the darkest blonde hair colors.
Man, this was such a good breakdown. I really appreciate Jade for taking the time out to give her explanation from her perspective as a formerly blonde white woman. But I'd like to keep talking. Like I said earlier, this thought process is relevant in every homogenous community. Even in the Black community, we sometimes use derogatory vernacular to describe hair that we perceive to be too far from whiteness. Easy, nappy, slave hair. And no, that is not an exaggeration. One creator has even been ridiculed recently for calling her natural kinky hair YN hair.
Why I got YN hair? Why I got NBA 2K hair? I'm gonna stay focused on the positive. No.
Crazy. Even the curl pattern classification system is rooted in white supremacy. The system was invented by celebrity hairstylist Andre Walker in order to sell his hair care products. This is a light-skinned man who once said kinky hair can have limited styling options. Apparently, that's the only hair type he suggests altering with professional relaxing. Let that sink in. Now, listen, This is not to compare white people's disdain for brunette hair to the actual systemic oppression of ethnic people. But it does show how white supremacy has built condos in our minds, controlling the way we feel about our God-given features and the way we speak on ourselves and our own people. Words have power, guys. So let's at least try to be careful how we use them. I don't want to hear any more of this dirty, shitty booty water blonde hair. Just embrace it. Embrace your hair, embrace your texture, embrace your features. Be intentional about the way you speak on yourself and the way you speak on others. Make sure that your words are pouring life into yourself. It doesn't matter if someone else says, oh, well, your hair isn't good enough because it's too kinky. Oh, well, your skin isn't good enough because it's too dark. You don't have to feed into that narrative. You can choose your own. So I hope that this video empowered you to do so. Wait. I know you were just about to click off this video. If you want to participate in the behind the scenes conversations that lead to the creation of these videos, please join my Substack. It'll be linked down in the description. With my Substack, you will get the opportunity to have discussions with me and get a shout out in my video for supporting me. Also, don't forget to subscribe and follow me on all my social media for more content. Thank you so much for watching and supporting me, especially on my first 2 videos. I really appreciate it, and I hope we can keep this momentum going. I am forever grateful to my viewers and subscribers. You guys are amazing. You are the star in my sky, light of my life, okay? And I'll see you next week for another episode of The Beauty Files. And remember, beauty has a history and every trend has a story. Bye.